Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Internet Business School surgery session. Today, with myself, Roger Norris, a business manager at the Internet Business School. It's great to have you with us, and great if you're catching up on the replay on YouTube. Today's session, we're going to be covering online course creation. Woohoo! I'm going to show you how easy it is, or relatively easy it is, to start creating a course content and outline and ideas and all that sort of thing using artificial intelligence. And just to remind you before we go on, if you need the replays of these events, we've got them up on our YouTube channel. There we are, youtube.com/Ultimate Business System. And we put the replays up there. I edit them and put a nice little sting and a bit of music on and make them look jazzy. And they generally go up online on a Friday afternoon. So you've got them for the weekend. That's the plan. But of course, if you find that channel and you like and subscribe to it, which we love to have people liking and subscribing, you'll get notified as soon as that new replay is published. So you won't miss out. Okay, so that is the deal. Please go off and like and subscribe. But don't do it now because you're busy with me. Okay, so this is the plan. We got together with Max and Vish, who are also trainers on this channel, and we wanted to work through the process of creating an online course. Just starting off with quite a simple one. Okay, we're not going to be looking at video creation, so I'm looking at sort of a text-only, text and images course. So today I'm going to take over that sort of planning and creating the content. And then next week, Max will be on and showing you how to build that content into a course management platform. And because we're sort of demoing it on this channel, we're going to be using our own Ultimate Business System software to show you how well that works with course creation. But you know, if you've got the content mocked up, then you can put it into any course creation platform. But it kind of makes sense to use ours because it's good. And then in week 3 and week 4, Vish will be along to hopefully show you how to set up these sort of sales pages and sales funnels for the course, and also things like automating it and starting to promote it. Okay, I've double checked with Max that he's cool with me making sure that next week he's building the course. I was just waiting to hear back from Vish to confirm that he's okay with points 3 and 4, but it'll be something around that. Don't worry if I've dropped him in it. We'll find out, but I'm sure he's up to it. I'm sure he's up to it. Okay, so that is the plan. So I hope you're all cool with that. So let me kick off with how to plan, create an online course, and then start creating the content. Now, AI is pretty useful at planning courses because it's been trained on so much stuff. It's got a huge amount of knowledge base, and it's got access to real-time internet, so it can find out everything that's going on and sort of research stuff for you to figure out, you know, what should be in a course, what a good course structure is, even down to, you know, whether it's going to sell, what the audience wants. It can find out all that information for you if you know how to use it the right way. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the ideas that AI can start planning courses for you. And we do that by utilizing one of the facilities called Deep Research. And you can access that for free in Google Gemini. And also to a limited amount inside ChatGPT. Now, if you are not doing deep researches all the time, they are phenomenal. They're brilliant processes for using, finding out about anything. I love them. So I've teed up a couple of examples that I'll show you in a while, because they can take a little bit of time to process. So I've I've pre-made a couple of research runs for you, and you can the deep research information where basically you give AI a task to go off and find out about stuff that you particularly want, and it will come back with a big long report for you. And it will, in the process, it will go off and search quite a lot of websites. A couple of the searches I've done for today's demo, AI has searched through like 30, 40 different websites, getting information from them to help build up an answer for me. I've done deep research runs where AI has gone off and looked up sort of 200, 300, 400 different websites to build up an answer. It's fabulous. Okay. And we can also use deep research to help research the market and also research our competitors as well. So you can learn what others have already done and get inspiration from them. Okay, so AI deep research planning will be one of the first stages. And once AI has that information and a bit of extra information from yourself, which I'll show you, you can then start creating an outline of a course to suit your needs. Okay, so we also always make sure with any course that we've got a clear learning objective. So that helps define the structure that is actually going to deliver exactly what you have promised to teach them, to make sure that it solves the problem for them and provides value. Okay, all very important key points. And then finally, once we've got all that in place, AI can start writing the content for you. And we can define that in different styles, different lengths. And unfortunately, we can't get rid of a spelling mistake. Learning comment. Sorry about that. Just typing it quickly. We've got to make sure that every lesson delivers what we promise in that sort of content. Okay, so what I've done for you is I've actually created a prompt for you to be able to use, and that will help work you through that process. Because actually, if you try to sort of freestyle your way through all those steps in AI, you can do it, but AI tries to sort of push you off on different angles. And down different rabbit holes rather than actually sort of staying on track with everything you need. So I've spent a few hours on this and I've put it there into chat. There is a download link that you can download this document, and it will, and I'm going to demo how we use it. Okay. Essentially, what this prompt is set up to do is to create a kind of like a workflow. Okay. And I've deliberately set up the prompt so it is working out for a short course. Okay. For mostly for time reasons, because if we were trying to do a longer course or a video-led course, we start going down all different sort of rabbit holes of video creation and uploading and editing videos, etc. So I want to get us started on this process by looking at a short text and image course, the sort of thing that you can either use potentially as lead generation for your sort of email list. You can use it as an opportunity to give people a foundation course before you upsell them onto a different product. Lots of different ways. But if you haven't made a course before, then starting simple is a really good way to learn the process and kind of like avoid the overwhelm. Okay. We want you to be able to sort of follow along and think, hey, do you know what? I can do this. I can actually create something, plan a course, build it into a platform, and promote and sell it. Okay, actually be a creator. That's what we want. Okay, so this prompt, I went through various iterations before I decided on this structure. Actually, maybe it makes sense just to show you a little bit what I did to begin with in ChatGPT. Um, this is a big, long conversation I've had with ChatGPT, working on a an outline of a course. I think it was something to do with 15 minutes a day to be productive, to avoid the overwhelm. And AI sort of went through and built all the structure of the course. And it was working really well until I got to the actual point where I asked AI to actually write the course content. Um, and it started, this is sort of module one, the first lesson. And it started out okay, of why overwhelm happens and a few different stats going in there. And it gave me the four course drivers of overwhelm: backlog sprawl, decision fatigue, context switching, and perfectionism. Reasons why that they matter, and a little insight. And then it kind of like stopped. That was it. That was the lesson. It wasn't long enough. It wasn't in depth enough. It wasn't engaging enough. And no matter how many times I was trying to get ChatGPT to make it better and to make it more feel like a written in-depth course that created value, it just said, no, kind of, this is the way that I like to present stuff. It likes to present stuff with lots of bullet points, short sections, and numbers. Okay, which wasn't going to be very helpful. So it thinks it's done really well, but in reality, the actual content creation was a bit grim, not useful. Okay, so that's when I went back to the drawing board and went through the process of creating this longer prompt, which walks you through the process of designing and researching and building out a course all in one sort of flow. But it also starts creating the content the way that I wanted to. Okay, in longer form style, with um, sort of paragraphs and the right feel for a course document. Okay, so this prompt, essentially what its mission is to um, help you plan and build a short text and image online course. Okay, and it starts off by asking you some intake questions about ideas you might have for a course, or what niche you're in, and then whatever information you've got about your course idea. Um, and once you've got that, it takes you through a sort of 5-phase process of doing some deep research around your niche ideas, to generate a short list of potential courses from that. And then it works out which one will be best, gives you the option of which one you prefer. And then it knocks that up into a course outline of modules and lessons to map it all out. And then it starts building the lessons one by one. Okay. And there's various other things that are going on in here as well. Okay. All you'll need to do is to actually, you don't even need to copy and paste this prompt. You just download this document that I've given you the link for in chat. And then we go to something like Gemini. Okay, I use Gemini in this example. And I upload the document into the chat by just sort of adding files. And all I do is I press run. Just say run. Like the old-fashioned computer programs from BBC Micro, run the program. And it understands. And it reads that whole prompt document and then kicks off. Okay. And it introduces itself, says, right, I'm an instructional designer and market researcher, ready to plan and build a high quality, short online course using text and images. Our process will be structured. Okay. And to begin with, can you fill in this form? Okay. So it wants a whole load of foundational questions for you. Okay. So, it's not going to necessarily say, can't sit with AI and say, hey, build me a course on something. I don't care what. You've got to give it some sort of direction and context. And the more context you give it, the better the results are going to be. Okay. So it gives you the opportunity to say which sort of broad area do you want to teach in, who your target learner is, the desired outcome of any particular course you do, what your strengths or assets are, so what your existing experience is. If you don't know, if you don't have a course idea, then you can keep all of these questions quite loose. Or if you haven't got an idea of what your course length is going to be, just say, I'll leave it up to you. Okay, you're not sure, and AI will help you determine what will work. Okay, so I've left this quite broad. There's sort of 10 questions in here, and hopefully it prints out a little form here, and all you need to do is sort of copy and paste this into a chat and answer those questions. So for a demonstration, I was thinking about what we could do to show you how easy this is. And, I could have asked the audience for ideas and try and filter out one that I think would work well. But for me, it kind of makes sense if I build a course that might be useful around the strengths of our business. So we actually get something out of it at the end. That would make more sense. So one of the things that one of the businesses Simon has is a self-storage business. We've got two sites in Folkestone. And we've always talked about doing a course, but we've been busy with lots of other things and opening other storage centres and all sorts of stuff. So what I decided to do is to use this prompt to make a kind of like a foundational course, an introductory simple course, to teach people how to find a potential self-storage site and see whether it is worth investing in. Okay, so it's focused around the self-storage business. The target learner would be an entrepreneur or a property investor, and the desired outcome is learn how to qualify a potential site. Right? The strengths and assets are that we already run existing self-storage businesses, and I've given the AI chat our website. Okay, so it can go off and read about Southeast Storage and learn more about us. In terms of constraints, I've said, look, I want this just to be an online course, just via a PDF. I don't want it to necessarily talk about what we'll learn in day one, day two, day three, which AI has a penchant to do. I want to talk about sort of steps in a process. We'll try and keep it down to sort of 5 modules to keep it simple and easy to manage. We'll match the branding as much as possible to the website. Not worried about mentioning competitors or not, or things to not mention. I'm going to aim for a downloadable PDF at the end. And I've kind of told it that this is going to act as a starter course to a more in-depth upsell that we'll produce to teach people how to set up and run a self-storage business. So I've given it a bit of context of where this course will sit. Okay, so I'm a little bit fortunate that I have an idea for a course area and what I want it to do. Okay, as I said, if you are just not sure at all what course area you want to do something in, then put in your niche area, put in your interests, put in the things that you are interested in or know about, or stuff that your friends know about, or and then ask AI to come up with some ideas based around those interests and knowledge bases. And you'd be surprised how well AI can sort of make connections and come up with ideas. Some of them might be a bit crazy and hopeless, but sometimes you get some little gems out of there that you might not have thought of. Okay, and then you can just sort of have a conversation and see if you can fine tune that to come up with a more structured idea. And once you've got that idea, you can then come back to this prompt and see what it makes of it. Okay, does that make sense? Would anyone be confident doing that? Just having a general chat with AI. Uh, just let me see how we're doing. Just while we're here, Michael says it might be worth considering asking ChatGPT or other LLMs to convert your prompt into JSON language, which you'll better relate to, and then the JSON prompt to generate the course material. It leads to better outcomes. Yeah, so JSON is kind of like a coding language. Okay, so Michael, it is perfectly possible to do coding within sort of Gemini and ChatGPT. It's probably a bit more advanced than I want to get into at the moment. I use coding quite a lot for sort of creating images and creating slide decks and all sorts of stuff like that. Um, but I want to walk people through the simple process. Once you know the simple process and become confident with it, then it's a rinse and repeat, and you develop new skills as you go along. Okay. Um, Fred's just asked whether the link's been put in the chat. It has been. I will put it in again, and then I'll drop it in at the end as well. Okay, this will automatically download a Word document to your device. Okay, sometimes you just need to search it out in your downloads folder, wherever it goes. Okay, and it is just a document that you can upload into the chat. To start it off and click run. Okay, right. So I've built out this conversation a certain way. To a certain degree, and left some more for us to do. Okay, so let me just sort of run through what happened so far. So I've given it that base information about a course, and it says, great. Okay, here's a summary of a course we're planning to build. So we're looking to build a course to qualify a potential site for a self-storage business. Okay, so it works through everything we've said and looks at the visual styles. And it then says, right, okay, I need to kind of figure out I have a bit more information about that sort of subject area. So I've programmed this prompt to instruct you or to advise you to run a couple of deep research runs. Okay, and they appear in boxes like this. So literally all I did is I came in here and I copied all of that, and then I went into a fresh chat with Google Gemini, and I pasted the prompt, clicked on the DC research button, okay, and it confirms what it's going to do. And then a few minutes later, it's researched a whole load of answers and websites, and then it's built this deep research report for me. Okay, so this particular deep research report was to analyze the primary challenges and goals for entrepreneurs and property investors. Yeah, generate 6 to 8 search queries a potential investor might use to find this information, and present a table of findings. So it's had to do quite a lot of stuff, and this research report gives me a really handy, useful document, and it's long form writing, the investor's journey, their pain points, goals, and the information gap. It's got some nice charts in there. It's got the 4 pillars of due diligence, the structured approach. You've got sort of working out the net operating income figure, market due diligence, physical environmental due diligence, Okay, so lots of stuff. It's got some search queries for further research and conclusions or recommendations. Okay, now I don't need to necessarily go through this in depth. This is what AI has found out for me. And it's looked at all of these websites to build that information. So smartasset.com, how to invest in storage units. Storage Point Capital, the pros and cons of investing in self-storage facilities. Commercial real estate loads, a beginner guide to self-storage investing. So lots of really useful stuff. And there's like 30 or 40 different websites there that it's used in this content. It's great. Right. So yeah, deep research is an awesome tool. And then there's a whole lot of other sites, including YouTube channels as well, that it's had a look at to build up the answer. So really good, strong websites, lots of validation there. So I'm pretty confident that this document is going to be well researched. And literally all I need to do then is in Gemini is I just exported it to my Google Docs, and I've got one of my context reports ready to paste back into our master conversation. Okay, so really, really simple. Let me just show you that process again. Sorry, I've just got to move this slightly so that I can see my browser. Inside Gemini, this is how to run a deep research report. Okay, I've just copy and pasted the information, the prompt from the box. I click on the tools button, deep research, click submit. It checks out what I want it to do. It then confirms a plan. And if you're happy with the plan, you can say, yeah, go ahead. Or you can review the plan and edit it. Okay, so this is the whole plan. It's taken from that prompt. And it's just a case of, hey, clicking start research. Okay, and it will let you know when it's done. And you just come back to it. That's a simple way of doing deep research. I use it all the time as you can use it for researching things you buy online. If you want a new fridge or a freezer, just tell AI, what your requirements are, what your sizes are, what your budget is, and tell it to go off and find something that will fit the space, hit your budget, got all the features you want, and got really good reviews. What's reliable, and it will go through and work out and give you a list of products and prices. Okay, it's really useful. Okay, so sorry, let me get back to the right chat. The right chat, it's this one, isn't it? Okay, so AI had given me a couple of these deep research runs to go through. And it says after you've run these prompts, just place the results here. Okay, it does give you the option to skip doing that research, but I would advise doing them. Okay, because it gives lots of really good, juicy context information for AI to work with. Okay, so I ended up with two Google Docs here, a foundational guide to self-storage due diligence, and this one, a phased approach to qualifying a self-storage site. Okay, all super interesting stuff, I'm sure. And so literally I just came back here and attached those two files, okay, which I can do from a chat here saying add from Drive, and just said, hey, research attached. So bear in mind, up to this point, all I've done is I've typed run, I've answered 10 questions, and I've said, yeah, research attached. Okay, it's pretty low maintenance so far, yeah? Pretty low maintenance. Once it's got that research, it says, hey, great, that's great. It can use that research to provide some course ideas, and it works them out into a shortlist based on a scorecard. There's a scorecard system called ICE, which is the impact, confidence, and ease of any course or process. Um, so it kind of works out a kind of like a scoring value for each of these course ideas. And its top one here is creating a course called the Value Add Hunter. And its one sentence promise is to find and validate profitable self-storage deals by turning solvable problems into your greatest asset. We've got a who's it for, what changes after the course, the core mechanism, text and images and risks, etc., that are off the side over here. Okay, so that's a top choice. Second choice, the first deal playbook, a step-by-step playbook to confidently analyze and qualify your first self-storage site in 5 systematic modules. Cool. Okay, and then it runs through several others, the site qualification scorecard, the 4 pillars of the due diligence system, the deal killer detector, the 7-day site validator. Yeah. Okay, the mom and pop takeover. Okay, sometimes it gets a bit weird, but we only need sort of 1 or 2 ideas to get something killer. Okay, and I could export all that to a Google Sheet as well and review it more in depth. But it says, hey, based on the scoring process, the top recommendation is this Value Add Hunter because it speaks directly to the entrepreneurial spirit of your target audience. Or the backup idea is the first deal playbook. It's extremely strong for its clarity and safety. It appeals directly to the novice investor's need for structured, foolproof plan. Okay, so I looked at those 2 ideas because I was, happy with both of them. But I'm kind of thinking that, when we get to build how to set up and run a self-storage business that we have the experience of doing, then that's going to be the one of the really valuable courses. And so actually having this simple course at the beginning as a kind of like a build up the trust and knowledge in us as educators, and that we know our stuff around self-storage. I thought that this angle 2 was actually the better one to start with because it fits into our ideals. Because this is like teaching people how to find a site, and it's great if they can find a suitable site, then they can come to us for the training of what to do next. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to go down. Okay. And that's as far as I've got in this conversation. So everything else we're going to do a bit more live. Okay. So at this point, do you think, is there anything in there that terrifies you or is a worry or concern? Is this something that you feel comfortable taking that prompt, clicking run, answering a few questions, and then reading some stuff and making a decision of which way you want to go? Okay, have you all got that? Cool. Yeah, Catherine says sounds good. Barry says, do you have to have a Gemini Pro account? Um, would you need to use ChatGPT or Gemini? No, you can use either ChatGPT or Gemini. You can probably use Grok or when one of the any. You could use Claude. I'm um, just sorry. Someone's put in chat saying, "Is this a recording, not live?" Well, no, it's live right now, but when you watch it on the YouTube channel, it will be a recording. Okay, so Justinas, this is very, very live. Okay, you can tell by all the mistakes and slip ups and everything like that. Okay, so just put that prompt into any of the good large language models. Okay, and if you don't like how it interacts with the prompts, then just try another one. Okay. And sometimes, yes, if you've got ChatGPT Plus or you've got Gemini Pro, whatever it's now called, it used to be Gemini Advanced, but now it's Gemini Pro, then the prolonged access to the more powerful models will give you some better results or deeper thought out results. Okay. I'm kind of encouraging people to have, an upgrade to one of those is really, really useful. It's £20 a month well spent. Ideally, you have the upgrades on everything, but hey, you've got to make these things pay, haven't you? So, if we can show you a way of creating something that you can get some returns on, super. Okay. Um, Fred's just saying we don't really need to know about AI at the start. No, you don't need to know about AI. It's helpful to know about AI and really good to understand how it all works. But this is about talking to AI and getting it to do things that you want to do. Okay, that's where the art is. Okay, because say I went down a whole sort of rabbit hole with one conversation and with ChatGPT, and because I hadn't structured it out with this sort of mega prompt, it was more difficult to create this whole process. Okay, so this is what this prompt is doing. It's walking you through the process more easily. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, I'm going to start creating some ideas around angle two. So let's hope, cross fingers, that this works. And then, Justinas, you'll see that this is definitely live. Okay, so I'm just going to basically say, yeah, we're going to start with um, angle two. So let's just do that. Let's use angle two for this. Okay, so it's now saying, great, we're going to go down that course process, and it's going to start working through its prompt process, and it's going to use some of its training and the deep research that we've done to map out the course process or the and what we're going to cover in it. Okay. Um, AI will always tell you it's an excellent choice. Okay. Regardless of whether it is or not. AI doesn't care if you lose or fail. It will just say, hey, that was a great idea. So you've always got to have your human wits about you. The first deal playbook is a strong, clear angle and perfectly matches the goal of creating a practical step-by-step starter course. Da, da, da. Here's the complete course blueprint. Okay, well, this is nice and easy, isn't it? So it's suggesting we call it the self-storage first deal playbook, and it's your step-by-step guide to qualifying a profitable site and making a confident go or no-go decision. This is the promise that if you follow the playbook, you will be able to analyze your first self-storage deal. And these are the course outcomes and the course details of what you'll be able to do by module 2 and module 5. Who should take this course? Cautious first-time self-storage investors, entrepreneurs and property investors, etc., etc. Who shouldn't take this course? Anyone who's experienced and done it before, or investors looking for advanced financial modeling. Da da da. A bit of prerequisites: being able to use the internet is one of them. And then it says, great, this is what I suggest of that we do for the module lessons and the breakdown. Hey, this is really cool. Back in the day, we used to have to sit down and work out what our sort of chapter titles would be for an online course. In the dim days when we used to have our internet marketing diploma, Simon did an exercise of writing down almost like chapter titles of a book to help work out this sort of lesson breakdown. And then we had to go down and think, okay, right, in that chapter, how do we break down these modules? Like, AI has just whizzed through it. Okay, we're from idea to course structure in 10 minutes, barring the deep research runs that we've done. Okay, it's awesome, gets you moving. So look, we've got module one is going to be the foundations and market analysis, and we've got the breakdown of the lessons and what we need to cover in each of the lessons. It's thinking about checklists and handouts we can do with it, and diagrams, infographics as well. We've got module two, module three, module four, module five, the final decision. Okay. Now, in reality, if I'm doing this as a full course, I'm going to read through all that really carefully, and if there's anything I'm not sure about or not happy about, I'm going to say it now to AI and say, "Hang on a minute, could you tweak this or factor that in?" Or sometimes you can ask AI, just give it, criticize and improve that course structure. Okay, and it will say, "Oh, hang on a minute, maybe I should add this, that, and the other." It will always find something to improve it with. Um, But basically, you're working with that until you are happy with it. Right. And that's, if you're doing a course for an area that you know a lot about, or something in your business or your niche, then you've got the expertise and the knowledge to, poke AI and tell it what else you want to add in. And it will adjust it as to your needs. Okay. But when you are happy, um, then if you want to approve it, it starts writing the first lesson. Okay, so I'm now just going to say approve. Single words make it easy, don't they? Make it easy. And it's now starting that lesson creation and implementing phase three of the process. Okay, and it's basically writing out the content of the lesson for me. And because I've structured into the prompt a writing guide for it, then it's doing it in a nice conversational way with paragraphs, without those sort of bullet points and numbers appearing left, right, and center. Okay, it's got much more the feel of good quality writing. Okay, so let's just see how it's doing with that. Okay, so we've got welcome to the self-storage first deal playbook. I'm glad you're here. If you're like most first-time investors considering a self-storage project, you're probably feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. You see the potential, the recurring revenue, the relatively low operational demands, and the resilience of the industry, but you also feel the weight of the risks. How do you know if a site is a winner or a dud? Yeah, how do you avoid the catastrophic mistakes that can turn a promising investment into a financial black hole? Da, da, da. So, good quality writing. Yeah. It flows all the way through. No, we like it. So we've got a bit in here about the fatal flaw of gut feel investing. Introducing the 5-step go, no go playbook. So it breaks down what we're going to learn. That's great. It's nice sort of depth. I don't mind it saying step 1 to 5, because that's easy for people to read. Powers of site evaluation report, your digital toolbox. Da, da, da. Okay. And says, right, to execute the playbook effectively, you need to be organized. We're going to set up a simple but powerful digital toolkit to serve as your deal headquarters. So it's even talking through how to, set things up maybe on your computer or in a Google Drive. Okay, we like that. It's thinking of some useful stuff. Bookmark key resources. Great. And then it's come through to me with some image brief two, project setup checklist worksheet. Okay, so I've got to create a worksheet that students can print and use to guide them through the setup process described in the lesson. Okay. And it tells me exactly what should be in there. Da, da, da. So that's just a little aside for me. And then it's got, right, here's the conclusion. Great. And it says here, just at the end, a little bit of an aside for us as a creator, the note on readability. This is a comprehensive lesson packed with information. For the best learning experience, consider breaking it down. Read one major section at a time, complete the action steps, and take a short break before moving on. Okay, actually, that's a note for the student, but maybe I don't need that. Okay, so this is where it's going to be, your, again, your sort of magical editing to make all that work. Okay, so what I'm going to just do at this point is to make life easy for me is I'm just going to go into the tools here and I'm going to click Canvas. And what I want to do is I want that content in a format without all these other little bits of markups, the side notes. I just want the bit that I need to put into a course. Yeah, so let's just do this. Show me that lesson in a canvas without any markups. All right, and hopefully it's going to pop that out into a file block. There we go. And write out all that chapter content or the lesson content, which it's just busy doing here. All right, and from here, I can now start editing this document. So if there's anything else that I wanted to change, I can literally just sort of click in here and change it. Okay, this is American English, so if I want to change it to organize with an S, not a problem. I can type new stuff in, or I can select a particular paragraph and prompt to make something a bit longer or to add something or change style. I've got options to change the whole length of the whole document or parts of the document. Or we can change the tone as well. We can get AI to suggest edits that might improve in here. Lots of power. So this is almost like an AI-enabled Word document that you can type over and amend. Okay, or you can prompt an instruction in here. So if we wanted to change the name of the course to something different, I could give it a new name in here and say, hey, change it to this name, and it would run through the whole document and change any references to the main course title to whatever I wanted to do it to. Okay, so this is a great thing. We've got this first lesson already, and when I've finished editing it and I'm happy with it, I can literally then just export it to my Google Docs. And that is lesson 1 done. Okay, so let's just say, great, create lesson, create the next lesson, create the next lesson. Then it's just going to overwrite this canvas box with the new content. Da, da, da. This is just terribly difficult writing a course, isn't it? However we cope. All right, so we've got lesson 2 in here, and then it becomes a rinse and repeat process of checking, editing, improving, tweaking. We've got some charts in here as well. That's good. And when I'm happy with it, guess what? I just share and export and save it to my drive as lesson 2. Okay, that's it. That's the process. Okay, I would go through and run through all of those lessons and create the content for them so that I've got a folder there with everything in. And then, we could then, I'm not going to have time to go through and create all that now, but hopefully I'll have it done for Max next week, or at least enough for him to be able to start. And there's going to be, I then go back through the prompt when I've created all the lessons, to then start looking at the download documents, or the extra resources documents. And if I just have a look at, I'm going to jump out, I'm going to break the flow here, and say, create me the handout document for lesson 1. Let's see what that comes up with. Da, da, da. Okay, right. So this is the lesson 1 handout, your first deal setup. Okay. So it gives us a starter point anyway. Okay. That we can again sort of download this, put it into our drive and do any tweaks that are needed to. Okay. I didn't actually read what that first handout was about. All right. But you've got a process now using that prompt to go through and create the content for your course. I could then, inside this sort of prompt, I could ask it to create a header image for the course in my brand colors, so we can start getting the imagery to go along with it, as well. Let's just see what that's done. I love it when it says, yeah, I've done it. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Where is it? Actually, let me just close this. This is the fun of AI. And just redo it. Close that bit. So it's gone off to find the brand colors from the website. Oh, it popped in and popped out there. So what I'm going to do is do it this way. So I'm going to specifically say I'm going to create an image, rather than it was set as a canvas still. Okay. Oh, this is fun, isn't it? AI, come on. Where's the images? Okay. All right. Yeah, sometimes AI just sort of gets into a bit of funk. Create me an image prompt for that header image. Okay. And yeah, sometimes you have to try and wrangle it back in. And well, sometimes you just have to take it in a slightly different direction. So if I ask it for an image prompt, then I can just copy that and then go into a different conversation over here, paste it in, click on create images. This is where we find out whether Gemini is working or whether it's having a mad moment. I suspect it's working. There we go. So I've got the sort of front page for my storage course, and it's got lots of bits. It's even picked up our website there as well. Okay, this is super easy, folks. Okay, apart from when it goes wrong. There we are, Justine. I told you it was live. Things go wrong with AI. All right. So do you reckon you can manage that? So you can go through that process and sort of start creating the content and some of the imagery and some of the handouts for whatever course you want to do. Okay, and have it stored in a Google folder or something like that, um, ready for next week when Max will be along and hopefully show you what to do with it, how to build it into a course platform. All right, that's cool. Right, so that's me for today. Excellent. Oh look, let's build a short. I've just done that. I've just done that. Now, anyone missed it again? Then let me just put that prompt link in. Actually, no, that just put the whole of that image prompt in there. Let's try again. There we are. There's the link to the download of that prompt. And if you want to look, if you want to make any changes to this prompt, okay, to make it to do different things, not a problem. I don't mind. Okay, it just gives you a base to work from. Okay, so if you wanted to add in a section after the intake session to add in a brainstorming moment to help you decide on a type of course, then just write it into the prompt. Or you could take this prompt and put it into AI and say, hey, I want to adjust this prompt to add a brainstorming link in. Okay, and it will go through that process and build you out a new prompt that fits that in. Okay, it's really cool. Lovely. No, I'm getting questions about the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is here. It is YouTube at Ultimate Business System. Okay. We're growing. We're growing. We've got 5 videos on there now. Um, and people are starting to catch up with them on the replays. 84 views on the first one, 61, 25, 19, 10. That's not a problem. Okay, it takes a bit of time for and consistency for YouTube channels to come up. But hey, we're on 69 subscribers. Thank you very much, you lovely people. And I'm starting to put on little graphics and stings at the beginning of them, trying to make them look a little bit professional. Let's see what we got. Look, we've got an animated slide here that I did using AI as well. And then at the end, we've got a little outro section that gives you the reminder of subscribing, etc. And, trying to keep it consistent. Okay, and I'm sure as we learn, we'll add more stuff into here and improve. But hey, it's just a tweaking process. Okay, so that recording will be generally, I say I have it teed up, ready to launch around about 1 o'clock on a Friday. But basically, I'll have it done before that, and I set it to publish at that time.
Your audio recording is generally ready to launch by Friday at 1 p.m.
Yes, you're quite right, Gemini. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Phones. They're listening to you all the time, aren't they? And yeah, so you'll get a ping as soon as that goes live if you have liked and subscribed. That's good. That's good. And it is, look, this is the chance for you to have a go at this, okay, to build something. It's hard. It can be hard to build a course. Yeah. It sounds easy to begin with, and then you get into this whole creative flow process, especially if you're doing things with videos and everything. And it can be, it gets tough to keep going. Okay. I am in the throes of, or the tail end of finishing off a course that I started in May. I started planning it in May and started recording it in sort of June and July. And it's about 30 hours of content. And it sort of launches in a sort of week or two's time. I'll have it nearly finished by then. No one will catch up with me. I'll have it done. But it's been hard. I've had to create sort of big slide decks and processes and work out what works for you guys and what doesn't in terms of AI production and AI use. And I'm having to learn things as I go along. and keep myself up to date. And it's only by doing it and getting through it that when you get out that other side, and it's like, do you know what? I did that. I got it done. And it doesn't matter whether it's perfect or not. Nothing you ever do will be perfect. Don't measure yourself as perfect. Just measure yourself as I did it. I got it done. I got it out there. And yeah, lots of learning. And next time I'll tweak this and I'll tweak that and do it better because there will be a next time. Okay, so don't try and get these things perfect. Just get them done. Okay, message. Super. Right, next time will be Max, who I say will build into that one. If there's any last questions, I think I've said that about the YouTube. That's really good. I've said where we got the recording. I've put the prompt in there for you. And I've done it in an hour as well, which is most unlike me. Most unlike me. Normally, I'd keep you going for another 2 or 3 hours this afternoon. But hey, we've got things to do, haven't we? Cool. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate you being with us. And we will see you next week.